The COD, episode 11.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Back again live with your co-hosts, Ryan and Paul.
Yep, Paul and Ryan. We special guest today.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Fred Marshall.
Yeah, that's
what
right.
a blessing.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, entrepreneur, go-getter, motivator. Come on, what else, Fred? Give us some.
Just, just a student of life, man. I'm just, I'm just a missionary, bro. Half of the time I don't even know what the hell I'm doing. I just pray to God and just let him show me the way.
All right.
For the most part, bro, I don't even like labels, man. I do whatever God tell me to do, bro.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so give the people a little background, man. Let them know who you are. Who is Fred Marshall?
Well, Fred Marshall, if you let the world tell it, creative genius, visionary of the collective concept at rethinkdifferent.com. A brander, a creative, a brother, a son, a husband, a man of God, photographer, a basketball player, mentor. I got a dog barking in the background, mother-in-law knocking on the door.
Hey, he's a family man.
Definitely a family man.
Absolutely, man. So during quarantine 2020, Fred, I just want to ask, man, how has this period given you more vision than any other period in time in history? Because there's a lot going on right now, right?
It definitely is. If you really look at it, I mean, history is repeating itself. If you really look back, I mean, if you even go back to the 1930s, the state of pandemic, the state of entrepreneurship, the state of commerce, the state of our world, our government is very similar. One of the things that I do appreciate is the technology behind the world right now. So now we're able to see exactly how beautiful and how ugly the world is for what it is in real time. Things that we weren't able to see before. So like when you ask me about the times that the world is in and the state of emergency that we're in, because there's a lot going on. From a business standpoint, I feel like we have more access, more resources than ever. I do believe 2020 will definitely generate new billionaires, because anytime there's a down in the economy, the ugly news, the World Wide Web, I feel like there's opportunity in good and bad,
Absolutely.
So it may not seem favorable to us. There's people making millions of dollars, probably quarterly, if not weekly or monthly or daily to discover a vaccine, for COVID. So, which for the world that I'm in, as far as advertisement and branding, communications, it's that opens us up to things that I've never even thought about as far as vision. I do believe minimizing to maximize. So for me, being able to slow down after a busy year last year, coming home thinking that I'm about to do a week of spending time with my wife and then get back on the road, God has really sat me down, and it gave me the opportunity, most importantly, to really, really focus on what matters in life, which is the time that I actually blessed with. Because we can always get more money. We always get more opportunity. We can always create new opportunities. We can always give opportunity. We can always, not all of us are blessed to have another day. Some of us are fortunate to have this day. But, our time is very, 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 very limited, and you don't know when that clock's going to start ticking. So the vision that I have for this year, it's been renewing of the spirit, of the mind, of the heart. Gave me a chance to really take a step back. Paul, I've been go, 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 go. How when we started the collective, how we was on. Exactly. I mean, it was nonstop every day. And ever since that day, since basketball days, you take it back to childhood, I never really took a day off. So this time has really gave me a chance to just really enjoy myself, really focus on me, not necessarily a client, a business, a vision. I just been really, really focused on me and my spirit. And so I'm kind of really starting to ramp up for 2021, which that starts today. It started, way back when though. But
So for the people who don't know, explain what Rethink Different is.
Rethink Different is a branding agency. I like to say innovation, but I think that goes over so many different people's head because, you know, when you look at invention is when you're creating something that never existed before. Innovation is when you take things that actually exist and then you do something different with them. So you create something new with things that already exist. So we're an innovations agency. More so from an ideation standpoint, we're blessed to have the talent to be able to take those ideas and that innovation thought process, the innovative thought process, and then use that into something tangible, whether it's a website, whether it's videography, whether it's an ad campaign, whether it's consulting a Fortune 500 company and stepping into a boardroom with amazing minds and brilliant people that's doing, you know, amazing things and top it at their game and helping them rethink the way that, rethink their approach, rethink their ideas, rethink their creative, rethink their product, rethink their company, you know, rethink their vision. So when you think about Rethink Different, you know, it really is based off of not me, it's a we thing. I just been blessed to birth it. You know, God gave me the vision, but I'm only as good as the team that I surround myself with, because the company Rethink Different, you know, our goal is to help athletes and entertainers achieve their goals. So we are selfless. You know, it's not about, that's why it's going to be really tough, and Paul will tell you, to find any advertisement, any marketing, even our social media is blank, because the goal is to really take pride in putting who we service in front of us, even if you don't know who we are. But because we've taken that approach, the love approach of self-sacrificing, you know, I feel like that's what has taken us around the world, has blessed us with the opportunity and the word of mouth. So Rethink Different is a innovative branding creative agency.
Right, right. And you know what's so funny, Fred? Because you mentioned you're only as good as who you're around, right? And I remember me and you having a conversation before about like the mastermind. You know what I mean? Your team. Can you go a little bit more into that, or what that means to you?
Well, what it means to me, right? Like, so, you know, that mastermind is it's a serious boy now, because, you know, it's one of those things where you gotta, like, I feel like all great leaders are the best followers, you know? So that mastermind approach in business, you know, most people think it's a thought process, or it's, you know, being the smartest guy in the room. Actually, it's the opposite. It's accepting your weaknesses. To me, this is what I feel it is. I feel it's accepting your weaknesses and finding those weaknesses in other people's strengths. So I don't necessarily, and I feel like a lot of the if you really study great businessmen, Warren Buffett, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, I mean, you look at Phil Knight over at Nike, you look at some of the greatest corporations, they're structured off of the mastermind prophecy, which is, you know, surrendering to your weaknesses, allowing people to operate in their strengths. So if I'm coming into, I don't need to be the smartest room in the guy and at the board table. I don't need to be the most creative, but I have to know that I am not, because I'm not. I surround myself with the people who are. The people who are the best photographers, the people who are the best business strategists, the people who are the best bankers and finance guys, the people who are the best real estate agents, or whatever the occasion or the opportunity calls for. I take pride in surrounding myself with people who I feel are greater than me in my weaknesses.
Yeah, absolutely.
That allows them to thrive, and it makes me look like the mastermind, because I'm just smart enough to connect the dots, to say, hey, man, I'm not really that great, and I don't really want to sit down long periods of times creating copy. Well, let's go and talk to, you know, XYZ over at Nike and get their copywriters, because we have access to them. Exactly. Let's go and get the best photographer out of Chicago that we know of, or the best painter to help us with this ad campaign for mental health awareness, you know? So to me, the mastermind The mastermind isn't the smartest or the greatest person in the room. It's the person that knows how to surrender their weaknesses to other people's strength and then get those other people to rally around that same concept.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. You definitely have to be an orchestrator. You have to be an orchestrator and, I guess know how to organize and manage the team that you put around you. I guess what are some of the most recent clients that you've worked with? What are some names that we would be familiar with?
I could take it back early. I'll give you a quick rundown. Brandon Marshall, wide receiver. Also somebody very close to me, my younger brother.
Yes,
He gave me he put me on a major platform and put me in some of the rooms where I wouldn't say, I deserve to even be in a room, but I learned a lot. And I've earned the spot that I've earned. You could say I was just recently out in Australia with Aaron Brooks, NBA ball player, amazing person, most importantly, an amazing father, very strong leader. But, by him getting hurt in Australia, which was unfortunate, but it gave me the opportunity to really connect with LaMelo Ball and JJ. He's going to be the number 1 draft pick. So I spent the last 3 or 4 months with them while we were there. Aaron got hurt pretty early. Samantha Johnson, Cal Prater from Chasing Greatness. Samantha Johnson's the Black Rose. I like to say the collective coined her that, but she's taken that concept and that identity and she's manifested it and taken it to greater lengths with her creativeness and her business connections and her personal brand. We can go all the way down from Under Armour to UAS line. I still got the presentation decks when my brother called me, hey man, I want to do such and such. And he just put the idea out there and I actually had to create it. We pitched it and sold it to Under Armour and we pitched it as the gray line. And then the gray line got turned into UAS, Under Armour Sportswear, which is their lifestyle brand. Under Armour did not have a sportswear brand, a streetwear brand, until we put that concept in front of them and had them rethink they're different.
Exactly. Yeah, I remember that. He was the Under Armour guy for Chicago for a while.
Yeah, he was the face of Under Armour. They opened up that Under Armour branch. They opened up that Under Armour store, because the market needed it and called for it. But he was the face of Under Armour Chicago, point blank, period. Like they opened that store up with his face all over it. And it's unfortunate that team got dismantled, but it was a blessing because he got a chance to move on with his career and do other things that allowed him to broadcast and get his message and his mission out there in the world. If you wanted to know a little bit more about some other, we work with Nintendo, CBS, we put a Showtime deal together. Project 375, which also goes back to Brandon. We've worked with, what? To be honest with you, I think the greatest people that we work with is the team itself. I really take pride in building the vision up with the internal team more so than the client work. And it's crazy that I say that because most people's businesses is really focused on making more money, generating more opportunity, getting in the green, staying out of the red, dollars, cents, numbers, graphics. I really care about the people that has blessed me to get to where I'm at. Like, I wouldn't be where I'm at without Paul. I wouldn't be where I'm at without Brandon Comfort, Brandon Best. I wouldn't be where I'm at without Mikey Lowe. I wouldn't be where I'm at without a Samantha Johnson, who is also part of our creative team, who's also started off as a client, and Cal Prater, who's also one of our co-creators, but he's on his own mission, doing his own visuals, which is amazing, and it's good to see that him thriving. I remember he started asking us about his first camera. Hey, man, what does this button do? What did this? Now the man's making movies and winning awards doing so. So it's a blessing to see that. But I think our greatest clients are ourselves.
Okay, go deeper in that, man. What do you? So are you saying in the aspect of experience and creating those bonds and the networking that we get from it, or
helping each other accomplish each other's dreams? And I feel like that's what team's about, right? Like, all right, we look at it like a basketball team. If you look basketball, football, team structure, even if you put the team structure in corporate, you know, the greatest person in the room is not the, you know, to me, if you ask me, Paul, I think you've probably heard me say this before. And if you haven't, well, if you don't remember, it's okay. I know I've definitely said it before. I always consider myself never the CEO, even though, you know, legally, because I started a company and the role that I assume makes me the CEO. Not that I'm better or I deserve that role, just I assume that role because I took on that responsibility to play that role. You know, it was my responsibility to do that. But I also had the mentality of the janitor. So if you go to the bottom of and when I say bottom, I'm not talking about hierarchy, who's better, who's smarter. I'm talking about in a sense of payroll, right? Like the pay. I would love to be the janitor. You know why? The janitor can tell you things about the company that the CEO absolutely does not know. And I say this respectfully, the janitor can tell you who's doing drugs on the weekend. He can tell you who just sipped the beer and left it. He can tell you which lady's on her menstrual cycle. He could tell you everything, who's clean, who's messy. He can tell you everything about that company from a personnel standpoint that a CEO doesn't really focus on. The janitor is the first one to arrive and the last one to leave. Right. And you would think that would be the CEO, but it's not. So the mentality of self-sacrifice or the team mentality is no matter if it's the CEO, no matter if it's the janitor, we all have to play a role. And each role, no matter which you get paid, is vital to that team or that company's success. If the janitor doesn't show up and does his job to make sure things are neat, organized, clean, set the tone of the environment, you know, because the janitor is the one that creates the initial presentation for the company. When you walk in, how do you feel? What do you smell? What do you see? You know what I mean? That sets the tone for the workday. If the janitor didn't do his job or her job at night, sets the tone for the first person of an employee standpoint to sit down on a computer and say, dang, it's crowded in here. It's messy. I don't feel good. I'm not organized. And that cloudiness in the mind obviously creates in the performance. So to get back on track with that statement is, you know, helping everybody achieve their dream starts with everybody understanding and knowing their role. If I know my role and what I'm supposed to do, and I know what my weaknesses are, not my strengths, because our strengths we do naturally. I don't naturally have to go out and be, you know, and I say this not in the third person, like the Fred Marshall personality. I don't need to be Fred. I just got to understand what my weaknesses are and surrender those. So if my goal every day, I'm already doing what I do naturally in my strengths. I do that, waking up, going to sleep. It's just who I am, what I do great and what people know me to do great. I focus on my weakness so that therefore I can make that my strength. I can become a student to my weakness. I don't necessarily need to play that role, but I want to understand what makes my weakness that person's strength. Well, what makes that person's strength my weakness, and how do they do that well? So I become a student to that mythology and that mindset, because now I'm sharpening iron. I'm sharpening iron with my strengths, and I'm sharpening my iron with that person's strengths to my weaknesses. So from a team's perspective, if I can say, man, damn, I don't care. Now I got my feet up on a Sunday. Man, I'm about to go and get real creative and kumbaya. Man, you know what I mean? I wanna express myself in a different way. But you know what, man? My brother P just called me, want me to jump online, and I'm gonna do that. Exactly. That's what it's about. I'm gonna sacrifice the things of me running out to my office right now to say, man, let me be here for my brother. I want to support this, and I want to be involved. So it may have took me a couple of phone calls, a couple of drop calls, a couple of doo-doo-doos and batteries dying to get here. And we ain't gonna lose a beat moving forward. You know why? This ain't gotta be my strength. This ain't gotta be my passion. But because I'm on your team just as much as you're on mine, I'm gonna do whatever the team needs from my strengths and what I'm learning about my weaknesses to bring to elevate this platform.
Absolutely.
And that's, to me, to answer that question in a long, drawn-out way, that's what it's about. It's about, hey, look, man, you're helping me, I'm helping you. We're in this together. It ain't just, the collective ain't just about, hey, man, everybody help me and help us do this and work on this client. No, but what are you working on, P? Hey, be best. What are you working on? How can I help you? Hey, bro, how can I help you? Like, what can I do to help you with your goals and your dreams and be a part just much as your team as you have been a blessing to me and mine and anything I've ever done.
Right.
To me, that's what it's about. And that's what the best companies, the best people are made of, is their self-sacrifice and their servants.
Now, see, what I hear you saying is that everybody has value. Everybody has value in the company.
Everybody.
So definitely, I guess in your industry, relationships are huge. How important would you say relationships are to Rethink Different?
It's the most important. Actually, it is the number one currency to any business is the human resources.
Right.
The biggest, and look at any company, the most money goes into the HR department. Why is that?
Yep.
The human resource. And excuse my language, but can we do it? The company ain't shit without the human.
Yep.
Everything is human design driven. Your product, your service, your company, everything is designed to get a person to stop, focus on you for a little bit, and invest into your company, or purchase something from your company, or give something to your company. That's what we are. That's what we are trained. That's what is embedded in our minds, is to get people, especially in our industry of creative advertisement media, is to get somebody to stop and say, damn, I'm gonna choose Reebok over Nike. Today, I'm gonna go with Under Armour over Reebok. And though each decision comes with an emotional investment, an emotional attachment. I may go personally, I'm going to go wear my Adidas when I'm cruising, but I'm going to rock Under Armour for pride, but I'm going to cop some Nikes to go hooping. Each one of those decisions on what I'm wearing, what I'm doing, I've invested into a brand, an identity that I can see myself in first, which makes me say, damn, yep, those all white, it's something about those all white, not Nikes, those all white 3 strikers that I want to cop those. And it go back to run my Adidas. Come on, man.
You were just talking about that.
You feel like I'm investing emotionally into a brand. So me understanding that the human resource is the most important resource to any company, I actually focus on the human resource more than I actually focus on revenue generation.
Exactly.
Because I know, even if as a young entrepreneur, I know that my time is coming. I know that I'm not going to miss the opportunity that's meant for me. So if I got $1 million deal and it don't go through, I don't get mad. I just say, thank you, God. I'd be a little like slumped, like, man, that was $1 million deal. I ain't had no $1 million deals yet. I put something together.
Soon. Put it in the air.
You know, but those $1 million deals that are coming, me personally, when I say I'm not talking about Rethink Different. I'm just talking about my hard work, my grind, what I do for me every day. I wake up focusing on people. I don't wake up focusing on the dollar. I don't wake up focusing on the opportunity. Through people, revenue is generated. I get phone calls that people that I met in LA, hey man, I read over your site. Hey bro, I didn't even realize when you first sent me that link, what you did. Hey bro, can we sit down and chop? Hey man, I'm not ready yet, but I know somebody who needs you right now.
Right.
And bro, I look at it like a magnetic force. It's like when you operate your business from a spiritual standpoint, and don't get me wrong, I'm not all holy. I'm not perfect. You know, I'm God-fearing, but I'm not holy. You know, I'm not talking around the Bible 24/7, but I walk around with what I believe in my heart. Exactly. And I know how God in spirit work in my life. I can see it. I've been walking through Chicago, literally crossing over the riverbanks, and a homeless man to say something that I heard. Only I heard it. Like if he was talking to me, I acknowledge him, say what's up, keep pushing, and what that man spoke would come full tuition, full in my life that day or somewhere in the near future. Like if God was speaking to me. So if you're a smart, like, you know, entrepreneurs work for free. We don't work for money anyway. So if I know as an entrepreneur, my career is going to be based off of and judged not and rated off of not how many dollars I made, because at the end of the day, we don't know what's in each other's pockets, but the amount of lives that I've affected, the amount of lives that I've impacted, the amount of lives that affected me and impacted me, that is my currency. The people is my currency. People is my wealth. Because even if I have $0, I can make a phone call and create an opportunity off of that relationship. And the smarter you get with your connections and your resources, the more that force becomes magnetic. The more that everything that you work hard for, as long as you think it, you believe it, and you go for it, and you keep going, it's going to come to you. You don't have to do nothing. And the sooner we, especially, young multicultural Black men and women, our generation, the sooner we recognize that, the thing I got to do is really believe in what Fred's saying is I got to just think about what I do, obsess over it, think about it, put that energy into it, feel it, speak it, do it, and it will happen. And that's why they say the genius is not how smart you are. The genius is never giving up. Because the only reason why a business fell in the first place is because people give up on their businesses.
Exactly.
People walk away, which means you didn't love it to begin with. So if you don't love what you do, and you don't love it enough to do it for the rest of your life for free, you'll never be successful at it. And there's millions of Steve Jobs clips talking about this, Will Smith clips talking about this, Steve Stout clips talking about this, Jay-Z clips talking about this. Anybody that has been ultra successful has really spoke on the same thing. Even Future has put it in his song, and he's a street nigga.
Hey.
One thing about it that I never gave up.
Yeah. Hey, remind yourself, nobody built like you. You design yourself.
Hey. Now, when are we gonna see Rethink work with Steph Curry, man? Because I know he's had some problems with his signature shoe at Under Armour. He's been in the news a few times complaining about, if my shoe was a Nike, y'all would take it seriously. I think he needs some young blood behind him to really gain some energy behind his signature shoe.
You want to know what's crazy about you saying that? I just got goosebumps, and maybe this is God using you to speak to me. I didn't even know Steph was having troubles with his shoe because I never even paid attention to the brother's product like that. I just know he's an amazing, talented dude. And the crazy thing about it, when we went the first time that me, Brandon, Louis from the foundation, we went to Under Armour's headquarters off of Baltimore. It's right off the riverbank. Their headquarters literally sits on their river and overlooks the opposite side of the whole skyline. Anybody that knows has been there, if you can Google it, you can see it. The first time we walked there, they took us into the boardroom, and they was talking to Brandon and showing him some concepts. And they brought in some shoes, and they were the Steph Curry's. His very first shoe that he didn't even know existed. We seen them first. Me, Brandon, our team seen Steph's shoe before Steph even seen his very first shoe. Obviously, that first shoe was the mock-up concept to get him on board, a little extravagant, pops, and then they tone it down and make the proper adjustments so that he can actually play in them. But Steph Curry wasn't even with Under Armour at the time that we seen his shoe that they were going to pitch to him. And the reason why he went with Under Armour versus Nike, and I don't know if the world noticed, this is insider information, is because Nike actually used a mock presentation. They put his name in it wrong. They spelt his name wrong, and they pronounced it wrong. They kept calling him Stefan, and it's Stephen. And his dad stopped him in the middle of a presentation, said, look, son, we out of here. Why? Because they keep getting your name wrong. That means they don't care about you.
Ouch.
Nike messed up his name in a presentation multiple times. That's the reason why he went and sat down with Under Armour, and Under Armour wound up getting that deal. But here was the thing. Remember, KD at the time was going for a $300 million deal with Nike. So Under Armour was so sly, nobody seen the Steph Curry deal coming. This all inside information, so excuse me. I'm gonna give y'all some
so, just the flavor, man.
Nike had first right of refusal to KD. So, but in this contract, they had to match or give a greater offer than their competition. So Under Armour threw out knowing that they was never going to get KD because of that first right of refusal, never was going to get KD. They threw out a $300 and something million deal over like a less than a 10 million span. Nike was so fixated on not losing KD, so they were so focused on the KD deal and messed up Steph's deal that it allowed Under Armour to steal Steph from Nike. They never wanted KD. They wanted to distract Nike away from Steph to get him and make him the face of basketball. And that's how they got it. So,
now look, I was just going to say, that story brings us right back to how important relationships are. Somebody at Nike should have been on top of it and said, this is how you say this guy's name. That little detail.
So you telling me there's no basketball fans or young brothers in there that could have been like, hey, this is Steph Curry. like, you know, pronounce his name right. Put some respect on his name. If you're trying to lock this
put some respect. And to be honest with you, he's arguably one of the greatest shooters of all time, if not the great. We've never seen anybody. In our generation, we had a Reggie Miller, a Steve Kerr. We had Dennis Smith from Orlando Magic. We had our great shooters in our era, but nothing like Steph. But if Under Armour was really smart, they would really listen to the kids, to your point, P. They would listen to the kids. I would actually let the kids design the shoe.
Hey, man, he need Rethink Different.
Yeah, I mean, I would personally let the kids.
When I heard streetwear, that's what I started thinking.
Yeah, absolutely. Because who's wearing this shoe? Yeah. Who's wearing this shoe? Young hoopers, the young kids. I mean, exactly. What? You go on Nike, you can go on Nike's website right now and do what? Design your own Air Force One. Design your own training shoe. So, I mean, that makes perfect sense.
But it also to a testament to Nike. Nike was one of the OGs in the game. Under Armour's a little young and still fresh. They even did a celebration when Nike tried to buy them. We're not selling, and they did this whole pep rally at the facility. Nike was trying to buy Under Armour, and the CEO of Under Armour made it seem like he was going to sell. Rallied the whole crew together. I'm talking about everybody, anybody to work for Under Armour was at this pep rally, and then just said, "We're not fucking selling," and everybody went nuts. But that goes to show you how competitive Under Armour is. But how young they are, that they didn't even have a streetwear brand, nothing that you can wear in the streets, everyday clothing. Yeah. Bro, I got on underwear. I got on Under Armour underwear right now. I got on Under Armour socks. None of that stuff existed until UAS, which was our gray line.
Innovative, man. Like you said, you rethought different and innovated on something that was already available in the market.
But it started with Brandon's idea of just having some sweatpants.
Exactly. And I kind of want to pivot on this. We got a couple more minutes left in this interview. So I just, to anybody else who's out here right now, because we actually had another guy who was in the tech industry on one of our episodes, and I kind of want to ask you from your creative, from your business standpoint, as far as small businesses are concerned, because a lot of small businesses are being hit really hard by COVID-19. And to go back to what you said earlier in the conversation, you mentioned that there are some opportunities that you've noticed. You know what I mean? There are some things that you've seen that are going to make people, money, obviously. If you can sit down and talk to an entrepreneur who's struggling with his business, what advice would you give him? What edge would you tell him to, what pep talk would you give him to help him or her, move their business forward?
Absolutely. Number one is the KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid, right? Like a lot of people, when they think about business, they think about, and I used to be very guilty of this. You think about like the big idea, the big office, the big team, the big opportunity, and you're swinging away trying to hit these home runs, but you didn't do the fundamental work, right? P, like, and I'll use us as an example in the hard work that we put in to build the collective, which has then spun off into all these other amazing things and amazing people doing other amazing things. It all goes back to that human resource that we talked about. Right. Like me as a entrepreneur, what I would say is always most importantly, it's like Tommy Westbrook. Westbrook worked from Chicago, fitness instructor, like he's a guru on fitness. He does like a lot of celebrities now. But when we started, it was just us trying to help him get there and him help us get right. Tommy came to me once, and I'm going to use this as an example. I'm going to use myself as an example, my own real life experience. And I never knew this about myself. I just was doing the work. He said, Fred, you're like Noah. And I get goosebumps. I got goosebumps right now every time I think about it, like literally chills and goosebumps. He said, Fred, you're like Noah, like Noah's Ark in the Bible. And I said, hold up, bro, that's heavy, bro. You gotta really say that again, bro. That was heavy. You can't compare me to Noah and not explain that to me. He's like, Fred, because like I watch you every day build something that you don't even know if it's really going to happen. You're just building this ark in the collective, but you're expecting this flood and this overflow. And I was like, damn, that's right. Because my focus was not on the money. I know the money's coming. I know those opportunities are coming. I know my chance to work with Steph Curry and design those sneakers and put that campaign together is coming. I know that for a fact. That ain't even my question. My question, because God already put it, it's already in my vision. Because it's in my vision, and bro, you just spoke that into my life. You just spoke that into my life, and I received that blessing. So because it's in my mind and I can see it, I don't need to do anything more than the tactical things, meaning like the small things until that opportunity hits my desk. If your business is getting hit hard in a time like now, that told me, to my point, is that you didn't do the foundational work. You didn't focus on the people. And nowadays, everybody want to reach 1 million people, have 1 million followers, want to be an icon or an influencer or, a brand, a walking brand themselves. We took the approach, P, of building up our network, our hands-on network, meaning I can call you, get you in 1 ring, 2 rings, and we live. Right. Nowadays, we don't need 2 or 3 phone calls to get what we need to get done because we have those relationships. So our marketing, in a sense, and I'll answer the question, I'm using this to set up my answer, is if you focus on doing the foundational work, who do I need to know? What do they look like? Where are they at? How can I position myself in their world? Your business don't get hit hard in 2020 when a pandemic hit because you have those relationships in place. You have the foundational work. And that's what my boy Tommy Westbrook was telling me about being Noah was I was focused on the people that strengths were my weaknesses, everything I needed so that the business was organized. I was like, man, I took the second bedroom and turned it into an office. Me and my wife, both of our businesses was started in 3807 in that spare bedroom, P. When you come in, you make a left, you make a right, first room on the left, second room and down the hallway was our bedroom. That first room on the left after the bathroom is where the collective was started. Yep. Bro, we used to fit 10 people in that little ass room, bro, having meetings, bro, with 1 desk, sitting around 1 desk, man. 10 people in a bedroom, made it feel like an office. Then we outgrew that space. I took the carpet up, and then my wife started her business there. Now we both got offices and stores and commercial fronts. But the foundational work was done in that spare bedroom, focusing on standard operating procedures, focusing on the right paperwork, the right legalities, making sure I'm taking the right steps. Right. I went down to my boy who's he basically deemed the collective a Fortune 500 company without being a Fortune 500 company. He said, Fred, we invested millions of dollars in the companies that don't even have one of the folders that you got in your computer organized. So Fred, you got a whole corporation organized and ready to go. Ready to go. If I hire somebody, it's a process. It's on paper. And I can show people, because we did the work, I can show somebody and teach somebody how to use our structure. And it'd be written out in plain words in black and white. Everything from hiring to firing to HR to contracts to tax and legal, from tax and legal. Bro, there's nothing that I have not thought about that we did not build. Exactly. Before I went after the first client. We was working on clients while we were still building the business and didn't even know I was just taking on clients to buy me more time to keep building the business up from an infrastructure standpoint, not how it looked, not not how big we can seem, not how much money we were making. Man, let me just take on one client that give me enough time to sit in this goddamn room long enough so when we go after the big fish and that flood come, we floating, we ain't drowning, we're not missing a beat. I always told myself when it came to business infrastructure, it's better for me to have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Right.
Because how am I going to go close a deal, but I ain't got no legal work for me to lock in the client contractually? How can I hire somebody if I ain't got the right HR in place? Now I'm doing double the work and I'm burning the candle on both ends because I'm trying to hire you and build the HR department while I'm hiring you. Why not build the HR department and then go hire whoever the hell I want?
Yeah. So
that's what I would recommend to any entrepreneurs. Keep it simple and focus on the foundation.
Okay.
And stay open and flexible to where you can pivot. You can pivot. You're not locked into being something that times may change, and you need to be able to move with the times. So if you lock yourself in 2020 hit and your foundation ain't solid and you didn't build your infrastructure properly, your resources, your contacts, your network, your paperwork, your business completely set, like you should be able to go into your computer, click on a folder that says back office, and I can ask AP, what's your EIN number? And you should be able to find that within a matter of 30 seconds in a computer. AP, let me see your financial forecasting, or let me see what your financials look like the past 6 months. Yeah. And have that and literally give that to me within minutes, within the email, within minutes. And I feel like because we built that infrastructure, same thing I would tell the next man, next woman, the next entrepreneur, anybody who's going after their own. Build your infrastructure, build your foundation, and keep it simple. Because when you're only one person only has 100% focus. So if you got a podcast, a day job, a baby, a wife, that 100% focus get broken down to 25% that you can focus on each thing. So you got all these wheels cranking and running, you're going to burn out because you don't have that much focus. There's not enough time in the day for you to focus on all the wheels this turning. So if you can keep it simple, focus on one thing at a time, build one thing up and make that one thing great, put that in a vault, move on to the next thing, build it up that way, your business is always going to be strong. And then therefore, even when you're not working in your business and you move on or you've elevated, you can then start taking off your hat and passing those hats, meaning responsibilities, roles, and duties to somebody you can bring in and train how to do it the way that it needs to be done, your way, if it's your business, your vision, if you're that type of, entrepreneur / boss. Some people, it's my way, this is how it is. Me personally, I take the approach, hey man, you come in, you handle this, here's what you need to know, here's our culture, here's how we move, how we think, what we do. And before you even get that role, we make sure we vibing with you right. We making sure that there's some chemistry there, that you are like-minded, like-spirited, A like B like C alike. So by the time you assume that role, we're not putting you in the role of your weakness, we're putting you in the role of your strength. Your strength. We don't want you to focus on your weakness. We want you to focus on your strength so you can let me handle your weakness because I'm strong there. And that's where the whole team is the CEO. The collective, the Rethink Different, the whole team is CEOs. There ain't no boss hierarchy. There ain't none of that. There ain't no traditional corporate structure. Why? Because everybody's a goddamn CEO for what they do best. Everybody's a business partner to me. Nobody's an employee.
And if you give people that ownership and make them feel like they're invested, they work that much harder, man. They work that much harder.
AT&T. That's AT&T. AT&T, when you get hired, they give you stock, and the longer you work with them, the more stock they give you. That's AT&T. That's why AT&T does not lose employees. They're too invested into the company.
All right, smart.
That's a fact.
Hey, man, it's been a pleasure having you on.
Ready, so you ain't got to get ready.
They ready, man. It's a war going on.
Stay ready so
outside.
you ain't got to
Nobody
get
knows.
ready. That's what I heard. Hey, man, that's a fact. That's a fact. Everybody's got to be prepared. Everybody's got to be prepared. I think this conversation is going to help a lot of people. It's going to get a lot of people motivated. It's going to get a lot of people some direction that they need, because there's a lot of people out here, young people who have those ideas, who have talent, but they might not know the direction. They might not know where to go, where to place their energy. So I think this conversation is going to help a lot of people out there.
Yeah, thank you, man. And I appreciate it being a part of the conversation. And to any young person that's seeing this, listening to us three brothers talk in fellowship, the most important thing you can do is whatever you love, go for it. Don't worry about the money, because the money's going to come. Just do it. The better you're going to get at it. The more you go after, the more resources you're going to get, the more knowledge you're going to have, the more opportunity you're going to create. So don't get fixated on what you don't have. You got your life, you got your health, you can think, you got a couple of resources. You get, if you're watching this, you probably got an iPhone. That's all you need to run your business and find what you need to find for your business, your ideas, and your goals. Go for it. That's it. It's really simple. Don't overcomplicate it. Keep it simple.
Hey, full speed,
Sir.
man. Full speed ahead.
Full speed ahead.
That's right. This is the COD. We got Fred Marshall on.
And where can we link with Rethink Different online before we go?
RethinkDifferent.com. I'm Fred Marshall on IG. Rethink Different /_ on IG. But RethinkDifferent.com is probably the best way of going about it. You know, we're not in it to be famous. We're not in it to be, you know, the most known. We like the 300. We want to be small, quiet, powerful, impactful. That's our motto. So it's more like a secret society of creatives, and all we ask is trust.
Hey.
Within the week, watch the arm freeze up.
Come on, man.
Hey,
I like that.
Fred Marshall, ladies and gentlemen. It's the COD. It's Ryan and Paul. Hey, hold on, Fred.
Yes, sir. Episode 11.